Hello, everybody. Let me fix this light on this window. It's a little bit too much. All right, now y'all can't see me. Wait a minute. All right, let me crack it. How about that? All right. Yeah, the chocolate girl is chocolating, so hold on. That's funny. All right, we just gonna crack it a little bit. How about that? That's better. Okay. Sorry about that. And that's not good enough either. Jesus. It's always something, y'all, with these live streams. All right, is that better? Yes, that's a little bit better. I will make sure I have a light in here the next time. I actually have a light under my table, so I will have a light on the next time I come on live because this is not good light. All right, we're gonna do what it do. If I could turn the camera off, I would. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. But, okay, so let's get started. I want to say thank you all for coming in. This is raw footage. This is not edited. This is me being me. And hey, it is what it is. So I am coming to you guys again. This is episode 24. Welcome to my podcast, the Real Conversation, Real Motivation podcast, where we dive deep into different and real conversations with powerful testimonies. I am your hostess of the mostest, and every week I will be bringing you refreshing topics and provide you with practical motivation. I hope that this podcast offers you a dose of positivity to help you navigate life's ups and downs and challenges. Whether you're looking for healing from past trauma, finding resolutions of issues, or simply just need a boost of encouragement, you are in the right place. So, if you are hearing the sound of my voice, if you are on Instagram, Facebook, all of these places, I haven't started posting everywhere yet. I am posting mainly on YouTube, and then I am sharing the link over in Facebook, and I'm going to start posting more of the content over the different Instagram and TikTok and all that, but I'm just taking my time. So please subscribe to my channel. It is free. It will help with the engagement. It will bring more people to my channel. So if you could please share this out, I would truly appreciate it. And so let's get started. So let me just tell y'all that my air is not on. So hold on. I am not prepared. What are you doing today, Michelle? What's up? It is hot up in here. All right. So today's topic is about me personally, my own experience of being single, over 50, and alone, and I'm disabled. So, and I just want to talk about it today because I've been in my feelings all day. And I just want to share with the internet, people who don't know um, how challenging it can be when you get to a certain age in your life. And not only have I not had any meaningful relationships that grew into something long term, I have been single for most of my life. I've had situationships, but I have not had a loving, positive, amazing relationship. I had a person who was a narcissist who showered with me with gifts as he was doing things with different women. I've had men who, all of them cheated on me. And so when I tell you that we weren't in relationships, we were in situationships, it was physical or whatever. So I am struggling right now because I moved to Florida 8 years ago. It'll be exactly 8 years, July 1st. And when I tell you that it was exciting, it was scary, it was fun, it was amazing to move somewhere where you can really like explore and do stuff. And so what really got me here was I worked for a company that I was a patient accounting um, consultant, and I was my own boss. I was an independent contractor. And so I did all of that after working for the VA for almost 3 years. And it was the government was such a toxic place to work. I had to get out of there by all means necessary. I literally was vested 2 weeks. If I would have waited 2 weeks, I would have been fully vested with my retirement. But because I wanted to get out of there so bad, when I got offered the position, they only had one class. And if I didn't start that class for the training, I would not have been able to take that job. So basically, I gave up everything, the comfort of the VA, a salary to a place where there was so many unknowns. But when you're just kind of fed up and you're tired and you need something different in your life, sometimes you will make some moves that you never knew that you would make just because you needed something different. You needed something more. Many people thought that, I would be on disability or I would still be in Kansas City, that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell y'all that I wanted so much more in my life. I went along in life for many years just existing, just surviving, being sick. I got hit by a car when I was 6, so I've been disabled since I was 6 years old. Many of my disabilities are invisible because on the outside, I look normal, but on the inside, my body is broke up. And so that's why some days people will see me and it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with me. And then there's other days where I can't get down the stairs. I can't hardly walk. I need a cane. I have a handicap plate on my car now, so I don't need the little blue thing that I have back there, that little blue thing anymore, because I have a plate on my car. So anyway, I'm doing a lot of stuff to try to, survive and live a normal life. But I just turned 55 a few weeks ago, and it hit me like a ton of bricks today. And it's not like it hasn't hit me before, but it really, 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 really hit me today. And for the first 3 years that I was here in Florida, I lived alone. I casually probably dated one or two people, something like that, not too many. There was a guy that I used to talk to who lived in the Netherlands, and I really miss talking to him. I don't know whatever happened to him. We just kind of had an argument one day and never talked again, and I really miss him. He was a confidant. He filled a void where I was lonely, even though I didn't have anybody in the city. And so when we stopped talking, that void came back. So I would date casually. And so I'm just, I'm being real with y'all right now. I'm being transparent. I'm sharing something about myself that I have not shared with anybody, but I'm sharing it with y'all because I want to get it out of me. It's time to really focus on socializing and getting out in the streets and back to where I was. Because when I first moved here, I was always somewhere doing something by myself, or I would meet people, I would go places, and then all of a sudden I became a recluse and I've been in the house. And I will tell you guys why here in a second, but I will say that, traveling for a job where you're a contractor and most of the people that you work with work for the actual company, they have a camaraderie. They work together. They go in the office together. But when you're a contractor working for yourself, you don't have that kind of relationship with them. So many sites that I worked on, I was alone. I would eat alone. They never called and asked me to eat with them. They would all eat together. I would go to my room or I would go somewhere else. And so that's just kind of how it was. Also, I was much older than them. So it did make a difference because of the age. So I'm not upset about not being asked. I mean, I'm not saying that I never went with them, but for the year and a half, 2 years I was with this company, I have one hand how many times I ate with any of them. And I was cool with that. I'm okay with that. Sometimes our clients were very challenging and I needed to decompress by myself away from people. But I had an end goal to move to Florida, and I did. And it was fun for the first 3 years. But it was also challenging. I had some work challenges, I had some personal challenges, people hating on me, jealous, whatever. And so that's a whole nother story. But even though all of that was going on, I was still finding my way and being happy that I left Kansas City. When I say I was unfulfilled, I was bored. The jobs that I had were just horrible, and I knew that I needed more. I had went back to college at in my 40s, and I just didn't feel happy there. I felt negativity, I felt unhappy. But what I realized is that I was growing up and out of my situation of the mental health of what I was going through, the self loathing, the self hate, unhappy about what I was dealing with every day with my symptoms, unhappy about the jobs that I had. And so God told me I was moving here, and I did. I got a job, and almost 8 years later, I work from home. I can live in Kansas City now. And so I could go to 14 other states if I wanted to move away from Florida to do something different. I found myself, even though I'm in Florida, I have been in the house more than anything. And it's so depressing. Let me tell you why. So some of you guys know, some don't. But my friend died last year, February 2024. And so I moved in with her February 19th. No, yeah, February 19th, 2021. And so when I moved in with her, that was the first time I really lived with somebody outside of my mother and my children. So it was really a challenge. But at the time, she needed somebody. She needed somebody. She didn't have anybody. She was lonely as well. And her boyfriend had just died. And I have a channel. I haven't been on there in years. I turned it off, but I'm back on there. It's called Holistic Motivator. It used to be called Casey Detox Diva, where I would do unity in the community. I would do positive motivation, different things on that channel. And I had some issues over there. So, which is why I turned off that channel. It's still on, but it's not monetized. It's still there, and I still use it to watch videos, but I do not, because I have an algorithm over there, but I don't really use that channel all that much. Sometimes I will post these videos over there, but not much. So anyway, I wanted to start over with a new channel, sharing with you guys my challenges, real conversation, what I've learned, because I will tell you that I needed to move away from Kansas City to find my own way. I needed to move away from Kansas City to mature as an individual. I needed to experience something new. And so the job gave me the fortitude of being alone. I had to eat alone. I had to go to restaurants alone. I had to go to places alone. And I learned how to do that. I had never really done that. Even though I was alone and I would hear in these different situationships, I had to learn how to do that and be okay. So when I moved to Florida, it was the best transition that I could have ever done because I wasn't scared. I had been traveling the United States in a car and a plane, sometimes both. I would be in a plane, then I would go to Chicago and have to drive to Indiana. Um, I would be on a plane, and I would have to fly from Kansas City to wherever my layover is, to Massachusetts, to Alabama, to all these different places. So it wasn't a hard deal for me when it was time for me to move to Florida. You see how God is? He will prepare you. He will make a way for you. He will make that road that's crooked straight for you. And that's what he did for me. He made the road straight. He made it easy. It wasn't easy. It was a challenge, but it was easier because I had the experience. And so I live with a lot of pain, neck, back. I have scoliosis. I have stenosis. I have Chiari malformation, POTS, EDS. Um, what else? Mast cell activation syndrome. Um, Gosh darn, what else? I think I said everything that I know of. I have many, many symptoms, lots of inflammation, pain in my neck all the time, and severe, crazy blood pressures. And so, with all of this stuff, I just have been surviving. And I just kept praying and asking God, please, Lord, I want to survive. I don't want to just be a survivor. I want to thrive, God. What can I do? And he told me I was moving to Florida. For 5 years, all I kept visualizing is October, October, October. And my very first visit was October 16th of 2016. And I got an opportunity to stay in Sand Key, which I didn't know where that was. All I knew is I was going to Clearwater. I had some hotel points, and I stayed in a hotel room that faced the sunrise. And I had never, ever seen the sun rise over the ocean. And I cried. And I knew that I had arrived because I actually was there. I had never been to Florida, but God said I was going to move here, which is crazy. And so then I got my job that started October 16th. That's confirmation. And I didn't connect. Now, let me tell y'all, I didn't connect the Octobers up until years later. And then I looked up the dates I posted, and they were both October, right around the same time. God will give you confirmation in a word, a thought. He will give you something. And so for me, it has been a massive challenge. And some of those challenges is because of myself. You know, sometimes we put ourselves in a situation set up for failure, not doing the right things, just a lot. Because, and I will tell y'all that being alone and not actively doing something, idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so that's where this podcast comes in. When I lived with Donna, I enjoyed her company. We would go on day trips. We went on cruises. She was disabled. She needed help. I was disabled, but she was more disabled. She had cancer. She had several cancers. She had a rare genetic disorder that she was prone to cancer. She was prone to what is that? Where it would light up in your body, but it was fake. It was a fake cancer. It was just strange. And a lot of people died from cancer because sometimes, you know, they say you have breast cancer, but breast cancer, the cells would move into your brain. Well, she could have multiple different kinds of cancer at one time. And at the end of her life, they thought she had colon cancer, but they never could diagnose it. But anyway, because she ended up dying. So after she died, you guys, some part of me died too, because I realized that I needed friends. I needed people in my life. I tried to meet people here. It has been unsuccessful. It's gone from crazy stalker, just mental attacks. I'm talking about people wanting to hurt me, people not liking me, people going crazy inside of my car, people reporting me at work anonymously, lying. So many things happened to me that it caused me to kind of go into myself and be afraid to meet people because there's been so much craziness going on. So let me tell you, I've met a lot of people, and y'all probably seen pictures if you're on my Facebook or Instagram of me being out with this person, that person. Those people were acquaintances. Those are people that I've met, but none of them were my friends. Even if I hung around them for a couple of months, and most of them, their mass shifted within a month. I had to kick them to the curb. And so My peace is everything. Turning 55, I am dating with a purpose. I am actively dating online right now because I don't really go out that much. My birthday, I met someone, got his card, and lost the card. I can't believe it. He was handsome. He was he was tall, dark, and handsome, bald man, a success, and I lost his card. So, anyway, I have actively been dating. I will say that I've gone on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates since I've moved here a year ago. I've been here since I've actually been here a year, May 1st. So none of them panned out. One person, he was kind, he was nice, but I seem to be kind of fetishy. They all were non-black, just so you know, because I am choosing to spread my horizons, to open myself up to meet somebody just because of their personality and not because of their race. I've dated black men. I've dated Jamaican men. I've dated Caribbean men. I've dated men of all black, black cultures, whatever you want to call it, and faithful to it and refuse to waver from it. And I haven't been successful. So, the saying that you keep doing something over and over, the same thing over and over, thinking that the results are going to be different. Well, I've decided to make a change and do something different. Now, I'm not going to say that it's been great, but the guys that I've met, most of them seem nice. They don't want to be friends. One guy, he was very interested. He wanted to be in a relationship. He was Greek. But I have a hard time dating men that don't have facial hair. I'm sorry. It's just a thing for me. He seemed nice enough. And also, he left town for 6 months. He was gone to Greece because his brother was sick. And so that really dampened our situation because he never would communicate, very rarely. So I get bored very easy. So anyway, when he came back, we went out for coffee, and I realized that I can only be friends with him. And he tried to kiss me, and I turned my head, and I'm like, no, we're just friends. I haven't talked to him since. Another guy. So there's been multiple. There was one that I really did like, and he kicked me to the curb. He basically said that he found somebody that he was more interested in, that he knew before, and told me that he couldn't date two people at once. That broke my heart because I really opened myself up to him. He was the first one. The other ones I was pretty guarded, but him, I let my guard down. That was pretty disappointing. But it does not deter me. So my issue right now is that there's nothing in Florida keeping me here. I am ready to leave. I was going to move to South Carolina in May, but there was a blizzard in January when I was scheduled to go. So I always take everything as a sign, and evidently, that wasn't meant to be. But at the same time, I had to sign a new lease. And so signing a new lease meant I had to stay another 8 months. So my lease is not up until December. This place, it's not furnished. I lost 75% of my stuff when Donna died because I didn't have anybody to help me. I had been in the hospital. I was weak. I moved as much as I could. But at the end of the day, everybody's like, well, why didn't you just stay in the apartment? Well, number one, I was scared to. I'm very sensitive to spirit and to things that were happening in that apartment. And after she died and me finding her in that apartment, there was no way I could stay there. So I took as much as I could, and her children wouldn't help me, didn't offer to help me. And when I asked, they wouldn't help me. And so basically, I was stuck trying to move my stuff in my car. I probably moved 3 or 4 carloads, and everything else got left. So my apartment is empty. And I knew that this was just a settling place for me. So I decided not to purchase a whole bunch of furniture because I'm not staying here. I honestly thought I would be gone already. In May, I would be already in South Carolina, but it didn't happen. So I have a bed. I have two desks. I have my work desk and I have my podcast desk, which I'm going to be getting cameras. Eventually, once I move, I'm going to be getting microphones and all of that good stuff and having a place where I can actually have a podcast. But right now, I am doing the podcast by all means necessary. Soon enough, I will be doing pre-recorded podcasts and they will not be live. So I'll have them scheduled. But right now, I am doing it. I'm being consistent. And I just want you guys to know that. So it's not perfect, but it is what it is. It's all about being disciplined and being, because I have a hard time with discipline, y'all. And that's one of the last things that I need to work on in my life is discipline. Just being willy-nilly. And so that's what I need to work on. But anyway, so let me think. I am lonely. I am 55. I live in Florida and I'm by myself. I don't have any true friends here. I have some associates that I might see once, twice, three times a year. I've had to kind of let some people go because I didn't feel like I was a priority in their life. It was whenever, if I reached out to them and I made the plans, then they would show up. Or, and it's not all of them. My friend Lonnie, she's just a busy woman. So she doesn't count. She's from Kansas City. So she's Kansas City family. But there are other people that live here that I've befriended, and if I don't make the arrangement, it doesn't happen. So I've had to make the decision to reserve my energy and to only pour into people that pour into me, because my feelings get hurt. There's one lady that lives in Lakeland and she only comes around if I make the plan. Last time she made a plan to go to the beach, she said, I'm going to go to the beach. I said, let me know when. She waits until an hour or two before to let me know she's going to the beach. She knew she was going to the beach in advance. She could have made a plan and she could have told me a time, but don't come to me an hour before to tell me you are going to the beach. And then when you reach out to me, you kind of pissy because I'm not going. I need time. And so there's another one that I reach out to when I have functions, but when she has stuff, you can see them posting things on Facebook with their friends and other people and always doing stuff. But so for me, I had to pull myself back and realize that these people are associates and they're not really my friend. And I need to move on. I had one lady that was crazy. She went crazy in my car and I had to take her home and I ain't talked to her since. That's a whole nother story. I had one that she was crazy as hell. So I'm just telling y'all, my experience here in Florida, because there's so many people from so many different places and so many walks of life, is crazy. Now, you might say, well, what about Miss Mary? Miss Mary is my family. That's my godmother, but I only see her every once in a while too, because she's an hour plus away from me. And, she's been sick, her husband's been sick. And so it's just been a challenge. There are people here, but we all live away from each other, hour plus away, and it's just what it is. But if somebody says, Lonnie will say, do you want to go to this club, to this place? And I have a brain disorder. I have brain injury. And I can't do a lot of noise and a lot of people and different. I have a sensory overload. You can call me on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, but I don't think I have autism. But I feel like, people are dancing on my brain and on my eyes and on my ears and on my everything when I go out to a club. We've gone to the beach. We've gone out to eat, but getting dressed up, going to a cigar bar, I just can't do that. The smells, all of the music and the people, it's hard. But for my birthday, if you invite me to go out to an outdoor event, I am there. I'm happy to go outside to a festival, to a live band, to something if somebody asks me. There's another girl from Kansas City. She's wishy washy. And if I plan it, I pick her up, I do everything, boom. But I've never been invited to anything. So when I tell you that it's just me, and I'm tired of Florida, and I'm tired of being here. And after conversations with my friend in South Carolina, I'm just not sure if that's where I'm supposed to go either. I don't know. And so today I'm homesick. I bought me a ticket for July holiday to go home for 16 days to be with my family. Some of them get on my fucking nerves. Excuse my language. They get on my fucking nerves. But the person who I am now is not the person who left Kansas City 8 years ago. And I think it's time for me to go home and stay and be around my family, my brother. I want to rebuild a relationship with him. The door is open and I'm ready to actively be him being in my life, being with my niece who just bought a house. Congratulations, Michaela. I'm so happy for you and your future husband. Being around my youngest son and my oldest son and my sister. My sister is crazy, but I miss my family, my aunts and my uncles and my cousin. I miss everybody. And I'm so ready to leave this place because I'm over it. I'm tired. This is not where I want to be. I need to be around people. And I want to feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't want to feel like I'm pushing my way into anybody's life. And that's kind of how I feel right now. And I don't want to feel like that. When I want people to be excited, just like I'm excited. I want to have a homestead. I want to build a garden. I want to do some stuff. But right now, I just don't know if South Carolina is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm going to talk to my friend about it. I love her so much. That's one of my best friends. And right now, there's a lot going on in her life. And I would prefer to go there and rent land from her, because not only will that help her, but also it will help me because I can have my garden, I can have my chickens or my rabbits, and I can decide to buy some land in South Carolina because I've been looking up land there, and I don't want to buy something in a place where I don't know. So I don't know. I feel displaced. Ever since my friend died, she's like my sister. People thought she was my girlfriend because we were so odd. We were such an odd looking pair. She was 4'11". She was Polish and Indian with long white hair and 4'11", skinny little woman, 70 something pounds. And here I am. And I was much bigger than I am now. And 5'7", black girl, dark skin. And it was just so much fun. I didn't argue with her. Now, I would fuss to myself because sometimes she was just nasty, y'all. I'm telling y'all, she was a hoarder. Her room was just full of garbage and she never cleaned. But I think, and honestly, I understand where she's at because sickness and disease breeds laziness. It really does. I have those moments where my house is not so clean, but I do eventually get up and move around and clean it. I think she just got used to it. She was more complacent in it. And so she just kind of gave up on it. She says she didn't used to be like that. And I believe her. But anyway, other than that, that taught me patience. And a lot of people said, oh, financially, I was helping her. You really helped her. I helped her get clothes because she didn't have money for clothes. I helped her. I gave her rent money because she didn't have a lot. That was her place. I just moved in with her. So I gave her rent money and she would save her money. We would go on vacation. She bought her clothes. She was able to take her dog to the vet because before she wasn't able to do all of that because she didn't have any money. And, so, but I feel like we helped each other because emotionally, I had never really lived with anybody else. And so to go from living with her to living, before, if I would have just went from living with my mother and my sons, all these years I've never lived with anybody else, to go marrying a husband and living in a house, I don't know how much I could have tolerated for that. So I feel like I built up patience and help and understanding and compromising because we lived in a place together. I've been actively looking for a roommate since I moved here, and I haven't been able to find one. So let me tell y'all, I think I'm moving back to Kansas City. It's been 8 years. I moved out of my one apartment in December of 2020. I moved in with Donna. I went home for a month, and then I went and stayed with Donna for 3 years before she died, before I found her deceased. And when I went home last year, I was broken. I was sad. I was displaced. I lost 75% of my stuff, my couch, my everything, my dishes, my pots and pans, my forks, spoons, all of my food. My bed was still there, my desk, my chair, everything was still there. And I was a scale, these different things that I thought about, my seasonings, everything got left there. All of my plants, all of my gardening stuff, everything. And so when I went home, my family rallied behind me. They hugged on me, loved on me. Y'all have no idea how difficult it was for me to drive there in the cold in December by myself. But I needed my family. And I need my family now. I need my friends. I need some hugs. I haven't hugged anybody in a long time. The guy I liked for 5 whole days, I hugged him. And that was really nice. But I need my family. I hate the weather in Kansas City. It absolutely sucks. I hate the crime in Kansas City. It sucks. But that is home. Home is where your heart is. People say, oh, this one lady told me Kansas City was my home, and I told her, no, it's not. This is when I first moved away. I vowed to never go back to Kansas City because it was so many negativities and so much toxicity for me. And it all had to do with me. What was going on inside of me? But once God worked on my heart and he worked on my soul and he's been healing me, I'm still, there's so much brokenness in me, y'all. So much brokenness in my mind, body, and soul. Childhood trauma, sickness and trauma, being hit by a car trauma, just so much brokenness in me that I'm just slowly but surely piecing it back together. It's like a puzzle piece. I just recently went to the dentist for the first time since 2019. And you probably going, dang, for real? But when you have so many things going on with your health, pain, and suffering, it's hard to focus on one thing. And so I always give people the advice. You need to break down the task into segments. And the reason why you do that is so that you don't procrastinate and you don't overthink it. Because looking at the work of art or the project as a whole, it's overwhelming. So break it down. So looking at me as a whole, I had to break it down into segments, working on this and that, doing natural products, cleaning supplies, baking my own bread, making my own sweets when I'm hungry, when I want something sweet. Um, Figuring out my blood pressure issues. That was like the main thing. I'm allergic to all the blood pressure medicine. So many different symptoms, problems over the years, stroke level, where I just felt like I was going to die, doom and gloom all the time. And I didn't know I was in survival mode. I didn't know that's what that was, but I just never felt like I was living. I always felt like I was going to, I was going to wake up dead. And I know that sounds funny to y'all that I would say that, but that's what me and my friend would say. Last year, I got a patch. Well, December 2023 is when it was introduced. But last year is when we increased the dosage because I still was having problems. My blood pressures are under control. Thank you, Lord. I have moments where it spikes, but because of the pain, it spikes, not because of the blood pressure. But I'm no longer trying to take pills. Whatever they put in those tablets, compound, they don't use a straight blood pressure medicine. They use a compound of different stuff, and I'm allergic to whatever's in that stuff. If it's a water pill, it affects my kidneys and my bladder. I can't take it. So this patch has saved my life. It's a little expensive, but it saved my life. And now I'm ready to go to the next section. I'm doing cleaning supplies, hair products to help me not to put so many chemicals in my body because I'm allergic to preservatives and chemicals and parasites and toxins and metals. Even my nose ring, I had to take it out because of the nickel. I'm allergic to it. And I still have a hole here. It's really weird and you can still see it. And so I'm allergic to so many things. So I have to be very careful about the things I put in, on, and around my body. I start feeling a little bit better. Start figuring out different supplements, trying different things, and things have been working for me. Trying detox products. And let me just tell y'all, being separated in order to be elevated. I'm working on the last couple things, but now I can focus on my mouth. I had a heart calcium score test done on my heart. Great. I had I go to the chiropractor. I haven't been in a while, but I'm maintaining. I'm doing good. My bones are not falling out of joint. I have pain in my back sometimes, but I feel pretty good. So I've been to the chiropractor, but now it's time to work on my mouth. And so I found a black dentist, a lady dentist, and I went and had a consultation with her last week, and I go back to see her on Thursday. I'm going to go I just had a consultation. I told her all my problems, my concerns, where I'm at. And she was very happy with me doing a consult because what that did for her is it told her more about me. I have to fill out this paper. It's a registration document, but she wants to have my history in her hand and not on a computer. And so I'm going to fill this out before I go back to see her, and I'm going to go get x-rays and get cleaning. And now I can focus on my health of my mouth. But I'm ready to go home. I need to be around people who love me, people who care about me, people. If I want to go out and hang out, I have people to hang out with, people that will reach out to me and ask me to hang out with them and go places with them and do stuff. When I was in Kansas City, my family had all kinds of stuff planned. I didn't have to plan anything. They planned everything. Do you know how joyful that is? I felt desperate. Like I had to do something to get these people to be in my presence, to come around me here in Florida. When they're doing their own thing and having their own parties and doing their own stuff and going out to eat with their friends, I see these pictures and I feel so sad because they've never reached out to me to do anything. I've always been the one reaching out to them, doing everything, making food, going places, going here. And I'm exhausted. You don't have to like me. But I don't have to be around. I don't have to have you on my Facebook, talk to you when you got problems. People only call me and deal with me when they have problems. They don't call me and deal with me just because they thought about me. And so I'm kind of over that. There was another person that I had met here in Newport Richie. As long as I was doing stuff for him, he needed a ride. He wanted to go out to eat. He didn't have no money, blah, blah, blah. As long as I was doing stuff for him, or he would message me, it was always trauma, him being suicidal, him this, and that, blah, blah, blah. I was exhausted. So I told him so. But it didn't matter, until once I gave him my boundary, I never heard from him again. So it is what it is. I've even been in some singles group here in Newport Richie. When I tell you several of those people are pretentious and the guys are prejudiced, discriminatory, racist. And the lady who owned the group, she started the group to meet men. And she wanted the pick of the litter. She did not want anybody else to be like, it was crazy. So I had to basically remove myself. I had another girl I met and I had to kick her to the curb during the hurricane. When I tell y'all, these people around here got some problems. And I think in the past, I would just accept people for who they are, where they at, and I wouldn't give them boundaries, but I start to be real and stand up for myself and not put up with toxicity. If you got toxic behaviors and personality, I'm out. And so you might think, oh, well, you're the common denominator because I'm separating from them because of their toxicity. I've accepted people and their toxicity, and that's my friend. I've known her for 30 years, so I accept her with all the chaos. I do not. I have a son right now that I haven't talked to because of his toxicity and chaos. I am a peaceful, Zen human being and will not put up with chaos and foolishness in relationships, friendships, family, kinships. I'm not doing it. So I can love you from afar. I care about all these people. I love them as human beings, but I am so happy and joyful to have boundaries, to give people that, to be able to have a voice, to be able to say no. Do you know how hard it is for a doormat to say no to somebody, or a people pleaser that, doing whatever you can to make people like you? No, I will not be a puppet ever again. So, yeah. So the loneliness at 50, being disabled, it sucks. But I have a coworker here that has made my days so much more pleasant and meaningful. She is a beautiful human being and she is a mirror image of who I am, but she's a white girl, 34, but she has a beautiful family and she's a beautiful friend. But right now, she has a family and a husband and so she's doing her own thing. I'm not going to be all in that, but I will tell you that I've spent more time with her than I have with anybody in years since Donna died. And her last name is the same as mine. Her maiden name is, and she came from the Midwest, and she is a doormat and a people pleaser and all those things that I used to be, or she's recovering from that, just like me. And just a nice, loving human being. She's making, I've known her 4 months and she's making my life a lot more pleasant. But I still have those lonely days and I'm tired. I haven't told my family yet. I'm going home July 3rd, and I'll be there from July 3rd through the 17th. And I will tell them that I want to come home. We're going to have a barbecue. Going hard in the yard, number 2, 4th of July edition. I want to go home. I need to be around my son. I've been talking to him like at least once a week now. My mom once a week, twice a week. It's hard. It really is. So I know there's a lot of people out there on social media And I know that you're alone. And I know it's hard. Maybe reach out to me. Let's have a group together. I tried to start a women's group here in Newport Richey. It didn't go very well. Try to get women to go places, do stuff, paint and sip, nothing happened. So I deleted that group. But if there's somebody out there that lives in Central Florida, if you live close to Tampa, hey, reach out to me. Single, you want to have even if you're not in Florida, if you want to have a video chat and just talk, let's do it. Let's have a group video chat. So I am actively getting ready to change my circumstance. And that's what we have to do. I need an emergency contact. I don't have one. And my fear is to be in this place by myself and they don't find me for days and weeks at a time if something happened to me. That is my fear. So instead of living in fear, I'm going to make a change. Like I said, I moved here after Donna died. And when I was in Kansas City, I found this apartment online. Never seen it before. Just signed the lease, paid my rent when I got here. It's not the best place. It's not fancy. It's mediocre at best, but it was a good place to land and it's safe and sound. But it's not a permanent place for me. I don't like Newport Richey. I'm too far away from everything. But I think this will give me the opportunity to leave. If I would have really thought about this back in January, back when I needed to give them notice, I probably would have gave them notice and left then. But I think I needed more time here. And so now that I'm in survival mode, I need to get out of here. I need to thrive. I'm surviving. I don't like surviving. I like thriving. I want to get back to thriving. I know where I was, and now I'm back to, before I moved in with Donna, I was thriving, y'all. I was doing my thing. But moving in with Donna, she was my emergency contact. We were each other's. I would take her to the hospital, to the doctor. I went to the hospital, stayed with her. When I was in the hospital, emergency room, she stayed. She came with me to the hospital, stayed with me. She would have her friend come and bring her when I was in the hospital. So we supported each other. I miss that. There's no way of going back, to being alone. I'm back to it, but it's hard. It's negative. It's not good for my psyche. I know how it feels to have somebody in my life that live with me every day. And now it's hard for me to be in this place. I'm struggling badly. I look so forward to seeing my family and friends and acquaintances when I go back July. I got to sleep on my mama's couch, and I'm okay with that. I'm just ready to leave this place. And just pray for me that God gives me the direction that I need to find my way, wherever that is. So I want to thank you all for being part of this podcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. Consistency is key. Breaking down the project into sections, tasks, in order to not procrastinate. I know it's going to be hard living in Kansas City, but it's even harder living here alone. So I'll see y'all the next one next Sunday. God bless you. Take care.